Hi everybody, Aaron Blaise here, and first of all, I want to thank you all so much for all the support that you guys have given us over the last year and a half in trying to build the art of Aaron Blaise, our brand, our website, our products, spreading the word, our YouTube channel, all of that. It's been a wonderful ride, and I'm really learning a lot. I'm really having a great time sharing with everybody. It's really rewarding, and I'm enjoying it. So thank you very much. The next thing I want to do is I just want to thank you again for the huge popularity that we've gotten in our new animation tutorial series that we've just released on the Art of Aaron Blaise at creatureartteacher.com. We've recently put together this big pack of, over 7 hours of me lecturing and demonstrating. We've got extra PDFs. We've got, actual scenes of animation. Basically, it's a whole animation course that you can go onto my website and you can download and you can watch. Like I said, they've been really popular. As a matter of fact, the first day, as some of you may know, we released them, and they went so fast that they broke our website. So as a result, we've actually upgraded the website, and everything's moving really well. But the guys, Nick Birch and Clint Weldon and myself, we're the team that make up the Art of Aaron Blaise. We got together this morning and we started talking, and we thought, you know what, as a thank you, why don't we put out one of our, fundamental lessons for free? And so that's what I want to do today. If you were to get the whole set, I've got all of the fundamentals. I've got an approach to animation when I animate a scene myself. We've got all kinds of cool stuff in there. But I thought I'd pull, one little snippet, one little lesson out of my fundamentals section and share it with you guys. So, without further ado, here is overlapping action, and I hope you enjoy it. And keep on supporting us. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay, so the next set of fundamentals I want to talk about are the idea of overlapping action and drag and follow through. These are several very, very closely related kind of subjects that we use in animation. They're basically there to keep your animation from, well, first of all, to make it feel more natural. Drag is anything that's going to drag. It's basically animating physics. If I move very quickly, I've got long hair. If I move, you see my hair is dragging, but it's also got what's called overlapping action. It's moving at a different timing as the rest of my head. It's flopping back and forth. It's overlapping. So let's get in, and then also, actually, I want to talk about follow-throughs. Now, follow-through it's somewhat similar, but a little bit different. And I'm going to use this punch as an example. I think it's easier for me to show it rather than to talk about it. So here, if you remember earlier, we were talking about anticipation, where the guy wounds up and he pushes and he punches. Well, also included in this animation, if I play this, you'll see, bam, he punches. Bam, he punches. Well, what he's also doing, we've got that anticipation, remember that, but we've also got overlapping action, and basically what that means is that there's another action going on. The main action is him punching. There's another action within that action that has a slightly different timing. Okay? So what's happening is he's bringing his arm up and he's going to wind up and he's going to punch. Well, this all isn't happening at the same time. Even if I do it, you'll see what happens is I pull my arm back, and to get more energy, I'm bringing my body forward first on a different timing, and then my arm comes forward. So I'm breaking up some timing. And so and that's our overlapping action. So if I scroll back and forth on here, you'll see he brings his arm up, and then his body comes forward, and then he punches. Just like so. So if I play that, you'll see it gives that punch a little bit more power, okay? And and I'll show you another example that's a little bit more gentle, so we're not punching everything. But then also I want to talk about the follow through. So here he's got all this energy. He's coming through, he's punching. Well, all that energy, he's not going to just stop in the spot. He's gonna follow through. He's gonna punch, and that weight, that momentum is gonna carry him through until he does stop. And that's that follow through. His arm goes through, and then he kind of recovers and stands back up. And that's what we're doing here. You can see punch, but then it carries through. That arm follows through the action. Okay, let's look at another example. Do you remember earlier when I was talking about, once again, I was talking about anticipation and I showed the dancer? Well, here is the same dancer, but I've gone ahead and I've added a skirt on her because I want to show that follow through, the drag, the overlapping action, on how that might happen on a character in real animation. This is a little bit broader animation than, if we had a nice, tight, intimate scene. But you're going to get to see the physics and how we replicate life in the animation. I'm going to let it play. And once again, remember that dancer that leaps up in the air? Well, now she's wearing a skirt. And that skirt is going to have its own set of physics. It's made of a light material. It's not heavy like the dancer is. So it's going to react to the action that she's creating a little bit differently. So it's going to be reacting to what she's doing. It's going to have a secondary action. Okay, so I'm going to bring this, turn this down. There we go. Let's turn these down. And I'm going to scroll back. And let's just kind of walk through it real quick so I can explain what's happening. So here we have the dancer at rest and the skirt's just hanging. And she's going to start to move forward. Well, what's going to happen is that part that's tight around her waist, her waistband, obviously that's going to move with her. But the loose parts, and it's light and fluffy, it's going to drag a little bit. It's not going to move forward at the same time as her. So if you see, as I move this forward and her leg steps forward, the back part of the skirt kind of hangs behind. It drags a little bit. Okay? And then as she steps down, what's happening? That's all because it's this light material. It's catching air, and these are the things I want to emphasize real quickly as animators. When you sit down and you animate, I can't think of another art form or another activity that uses both sides of the brain as much as animation does, because not only are we into the emotional, creative side of art and everything else that we're doing in animation, but we're thinking very analytically. We have to break things down. We have to look at them from a very logic-based standpoint, okay? And that's what we're doing here. When I animate, let's say this dancer, when I animated her without the skirt, there was one set of rules, one set of physics that I was thinking about as I animated her through. I was thinking about her weight, her muscles, how all that worked together. Now, as I go back through again, I'm readjusting my brain. And I'm thinking about this skirt she's wearing and how this skirt is going to react to the air, to the physics around her, the speed that she's moving. And so as she comes up in the air, there's a bit of a stretch. You see her leg come up, because that leg comes up so quickly, it stretches the skirt. And then as she steps forward, there's this momentum that she's created. See, the leg comes up and then all of a sudden comes forward. Well, that momentum, that energy of her leg bringing that leg up, or the leg bringing the skirt up, keeps that skirt going. You see how there's that gap between the leg and the skirt? That's because I'm thinking about the physics. I'm thinking about the energy of that leg coming up, but then dropping really quick, but then that skirt is gonna drag behind. There's gonna be a little bit of air underneath there. And as she drops down, that air, that gets compounded, so that skirt drags. You see how it's dragging? Really dragging behind her, especially as she picks up energy. She's picking up momentum, and the more energy she picks up, the more speed she picks up, that skirt, because it's such a light material, is going to drag behind her even more and really react to her actions. So that as she leaps up into the air, you can see it all drags behind her. It just, boom, it drags up. And I even created it to where it's kind of bunching up in the crease of her leg where it goes into her body. This is all drag and secondary action. The secondary action being that the skirt is reacting to a different timing. It's got its own set of actions that it's doing separate from the body, although the body is driving it. So let's watch her jump up in the air, but now watch. She gets up into the air, and just like, remember that bouncing ball and the timing I was talking about where things will slow down? Well, because this is all where it gets intertwined. She's got this skirt on and she jumps up into the air. And as she jumps up there, she's got all this energy, and then she kind of hangs so that when she does, that skirt catches up and it starts to billow. It starts to fluff out. And then as she comes back down, it's going to catch air again and drop back down. So watch as I scroll through, it catches it. See where it starts to catch a little bit of air? And then when she comes down, it drags again. See how it's catching air and dragging? Now watch. Because now she's got energy coming down and that skirt is dragging. It's got that overlapping action. It's dragging down. When she hits the ground and compresses, that skirt, it drops down behind her or below her. Watch, it comes boom, right down. See how it stretches right down, right through there. And so by thinking about these physics, thinking about life, and this is where I was talking about earlier, once again, you're going to see as I talk about these lessons how I'm referring back all over the place to different principles and different things that I talk about in other parts of the lessons, because this is all very intertwined with other aspects of this fundamental is tied into that fundamental. And so one of the things I want to talk about is, when I was mentioning earlier about getting out and drawing and observing life and that sort of thing, the more you can do that, the more you're going to be able to animate this kind of stuff just right out of your head. You're not going to have to go out and shoot it with a video camera and then break it down and then copy what's on the frame. You can actually get in there and you can feel it. You can, when I animated this, I animated it just straight out of my head. I didn't videotape it. But what I did was I felt it. This is what animators do. I felt the way she leapt. Yes, I was putting myself into the mind of a dainty little ballerina. And she's jumping up into the air. And so I wanted to feel how that skirt would catch air and billow and that sort of thing. Plus, I've seen it. And so because of that experience and because of the ability to kind of put myself into that mindset, you can execute this type of action and feel those physics so that when I actually play it, you can see it actually feels pretty natural. That's follow through, overlapping action, drag. These are all things that are going to be intertwined with other aspects of some of the other fundamentals that we're talking about, especially in some of these more subtle scenes that I want to talk about later on in acting, because not everything is going to be this broad. But we're going to use these same fundamentals. Even a character that's talking very intimately like I'm talking now, there's going to be little bits, my cheek might drag and overlap. There might be little bits where, like in the case of this bear, where the bear moves and the ears are going to drag. There's subtle little bits of those little fundamentals that we're going to add into some of these other scenes. So without further ado, let's move on to the next fundamental. Hi everybody, my name is Aaron Blaise and I've been in the animation industry for over 27 years. 21 of those were spent working for the Walt Disney Feature Animation Company. I wanted to take those experiences, those 27 years of learning, and create a set of videos, a set of tutorials that are going to take you through the 12 fundamentals of animation. These are the fundamentals that the original 9 old men at Disney discovered and propagated and grew and became the standard that we go by now. And not only that, I'm going to take those 12 fundamentals and I'm going to show you how I apply them to approaching a scene and animating a scene the way I would do it. So we're going to learn the 12 fundamentals and then we're going to apply them. And by the end, you're going to be able to animate a scene on your own. So I invite you to join me in my studio one-on-one. You're going to be sitting right next to me. I guarantee you're going to learn something and you might create a little bit of life. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, please hit the red subscribe button down below. Spread the word. And also, if there's something that you're not seeing that you'd like to see, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks a lot.